Finally had a chance to edit a couple of loose films together. But I bring to you the finishing out of crab season 2025. It was good, definitely a good crab year. Definitely got a little bit lucky on the weeks prior to leaving for a trip out to Texas, and after I came back I definitely had to work a lot more than this big male for my crab. Definitely fortunate sometimes when we get that beautiful viz. And yeah, it's late, but it's the part of diving after work. It's definitely not a lot of daylight out here, but getting to watch the little herring wiggle around and that beautiful sand stacked up in that way after the waves come crashing through here. Definitely a sight to behold. And you can see them kind of deviate, and they grab up and they pick up little food particles, and to some extent I guess they are almost little filter feeders as they eat little bits of food floating around their water column. And here we are, this is the last day of the crab season, and I did a lot of digging that day. I think I dug and flipped 30 or more females until I finally got this last crab, a nice keeper male. And I really worked for it, so I was a happy guy. Nothing beats 30 or more flips until finally getting that male. And unfortunately, sometimes you drop your gear, but use the tools available in your hands to make things easy. And you can see here, that is a nice large Dungeness crab. Coming home with me. And this time of year also the ducks are commuting in, so didn't catch anything on that day out. Water visibility was terrible, but it was amazing to have just these ducks flying right overhead. And this was a little foray into a different spot. This is a very popular dive location up on Point Hudson. Just downtown, Port Townsend, super easy. A lot of small perch and tons of action on those pilings there off of, I think it's called the Cathedral. Nice place. I think I'm going to bring people here again just that want to see things, because the pilings are absolutely amazing. And we got lucky out there with Greg. Went out there, not a ton of current, and got to just enjoy the snowy forest of plumeless anemones. It's about 10 meters of just pure plumose anemone. Hard to beat that anywhere that I've seen so far around here. And all the other things on there's a bunch of giant barnacles, there's some scallops on there, and there's a huge ecosystem of other random critters hanging on to all of that growth. It's amazing if you just stick something in there under the water, things will grow on it. And there goes Greg, doing a little drop down there, checking things out. It's a little bit eerie looking down, and you just see darkness, and all around you it's just that white. But it's the beauty of winter diving out here. If you do look around, there's just tons of life. These anemones is definitely in a high current spot, and all those perch, they figured out that you can just hang out in that zone and food will come to you. We got a nice nudibranch. I am not quite sure what the species of it is, but it is orange and relatively large. And I decided, I think I ended up going over and going for a little grab and yoink to show Greg here. So my camera just slowly goes free flowing as I pull it up and pass it over to him. And we notice there's just life everywhere around these little pilings, so end up spending some time on the surface just relaxing, snorkeling, and watching all these small surf perch cruising around in their home. None of these perch are really of any size worth shooting. As you see them kind of cruising in, and if you notice, they have a little darker patch on the top part of their fin, like that one in the center there. That's what really denotes them as being juveniles, besides, of course, seeing that they're small. These smaller ones have this little big black patch on their top fin. And as they grow and get older, they start to loosen that. But these ones here, they are tiny cuties. Generally, when there's little ones, there's some bigger ones, but I honestly did not see any perch that appear to be over a pound in this area. I don't think it's overfishing. I think maybe it's just the day. Sometimes you just don't see the big ones. But it could also just be that there's maybe not enough food for the big ones to sustain them there, or maybe the big ones school together in another area. It's hard to know because right now they're all very much schooled together. So this could potentially be an area where they are not breeding, and then the breeders are heading out to a different area. To be determined as I dive this place more often. At this moment, we realize that right under us is a bunch of these small types of stickfish. I'm not quite sure what they are, but I should definitely look it up in a book. They school together and they just float around in the water column. They're definitely not sand lance. Definitely feeding as well. I generally tend to see them in more of these structured areas over sand. They like the eelgrass beds, they like the pilings, they like the kelp beds, compared to the sandlands that are primarily over sandier areas. I mean, sandlands love the eelgrass beds too, so sometimes they'll commingle. Bit of grumbling. We decided that it's time to do a couple of drops here, so decided to check out what's going on, and tons more perch down below, as expected. And some of these are getting a little bit bigger. You can see there's some of them don't have as much of that black on top of their dorsal fin. It's not as defined, but a lot of them are still quite small. Like that one there is tiny. Still got that little black blotch on it. That's an easy way to tell whether perch is tiny or not. To avoid spooking them, I'm actually climbing down the acorn barnacle ladder. Less kicking, more efficient, and also less spooky. I have my light on, so they don't know what to think of any of this. And our last trip was doing a little swim over to the old Union Wharf. We found this traffic cone with a bunch of little dock shrimp sitting inside of it with their little arms out. It's fun to see when somebody's trash turns into a home out here. And with that, we ended up wrapping all the spare footage I had lying around. And it's off to the new year, with many more dives to come.